Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Eff Your Fears Podcast. I am your host, Ashley Monique Menard.
Bonjour, welcome to the Eff Your Fears Podcast. Je m'appelle Ashley Monique Menard. Today we're going to be talking about an incredible voiceover performer. She does quite a few different voices and she has worked quite a bit in the business. If you are a performer and you want to learn more and more about the odds and ends of, voiceover, this is one to watch for. I'm sorry, guys. I had to. My terrible French accent. Terrible. And I'm French. They'd be so disappointed. Who's on the show? Jenna Faye Davi is on the show. Jenna Faye. She's such a beautiful girl inside and out. She's one of my friends. I absolutely love her. So we had a chat, and I can't wait till she and I can hang out in person because I'm just such a big fan of hers. So she's on the show. It's going to be super fun. I'm really stoked for it. And before we bring her out, let's go ahead and talk for a quick tick. Okay, so you guys, how are you? How's it going? How you doing? It's been 1 year since I started podcasting. 1 whole year. We're not at a 1-year anniversary yet for Eff Your Fears. But what came before Eff Your Fears was a tiny little nugget of a podcast. It was about 12 episodes. It was me and one of my good girlfriends, Laura Smith, and we did the Sexless in the City podcast. Sexless in the City. And then we had sex, and it was like, okay, we can't do Sexless anymore because sex has happened. So, yeah, the Sexless in the City podcast, it doesn't exist anymore. But it does. You can find it over on the iTunes. We did a few amazing episodes. We had Rick Younger from Mean Girls. He was on the podcast. We also had, we had Katie Finan, a matchmaker. Such a great episode. We also had Marla. We also had Marlene Dater, who is a Reiki healer as well as an energy worker. Like, she's absolutely amazing, so you got to check out her pod. The Sexless in the City podcast happened, and we did a few episodes, and then I told Laura, I was like, hey, I'm kind of, because I'd been talking about doing Eff Your Fears podcast for years, and I was like, Laura, I'm thinking of doing Eff Your Fears podcast. And she was like, oh my God, yeah, you totally need to. And I was like, okay, cool. Is this okay if we don't keep doing this? She was like, girl, you do you. And Laura, who's an absolute boss and just has always been such a big idol for me in my life. Like, she's always been such a great soul sister. So hopefully, I'm thinking my 1-year anniversary, I'll probably have her be one of my guests for the 1 year. Do you have any friends like that? Do you have any friends that you've just known for a really long time and they're a few years older than you and they always just kind of push you and motivate you and they know what to say and their actions inspire you and they're good people and they're like sisters or brothers that you never had or did have but are better than the ones you have? And I have a good sister. I don't mean sister, but I mean brother. I have a lot of brother figures that are a lot better, like Joseph Banahan. He's Joseph Banana Hammock. He stepped into a good brotherly role. Don't know where I'm going with this rant other than the fact that we're coming up in August. We'll be at our 1 year for Eff Your Fears, so I'm super excited about that. Thank you for being a part of this journey. I'm so grateful. I started this podcast because I was just scared of a lot of things, and I wanted to be able to talk to people about how they deal with their fears, what they do. It's inspired me to be able to push myself into my next realm and grow, and I want us to grow together. I mean, that's what life is about. If we're not growing with someone, what the fuck are we doing with them? This is a relationship. You've invested your time in me, and I'm trying to invest time in you. Putting together a podcast isn't just as easy as press and play and it all of a sudden happens. I spent a lot of time working on the show. It may not seem like it because sometimes I'm like, no, this is it. But, it takes a lot of time to be able to do it. And I do it because I know that I have 30 people who listen to this podcast and they choose to. And I can't tell you how much that means to me. It just makes me super grateful. So, that being said, voiceover, that's what we're talking about today. We've got Jenna on the show. Jenna is an incredible voiceover artist. I remember sorting silverware with her at BB King's, picking chicken bones out of forks and being like, yeah, so how's your voiceover reel? And like now, she books some pretty big clients. And so it's a super informative episode, and I hope that it's helpful for you. And I thank you for being here. I really, really do. So let's go ahead and do this, and I'll talk to you soon. Let's see what's happening.
Is your current headshot a little outdated? Is it in black and white? Head over to Queen Self Tape and get yourself some new headshots. Gabe Awan's got affordable prices and can also help you with self tapes. www.queenselftape.com.
Jenna,
Hi.
what's up?
Oh man, so many things. We were just talking about. I feel like the busiest week. I just got back from moving my parents down to Florida, so it was a little bit of a hiatus with the holidays, and yeah, they're going down for like 4 months snowbirding, which is so nice. Like, yeah, the New Yorker Long Island dream.
God, I love that. That's one of my dreams.
Yeah, so they're doing it. They're living it up right now. My dad's like golfing every day, and my mom is like, she's still doing work and stuff like that, but she gets to like relax on the beach. They have like a really beautiful apartment that they're renting right on the beach, great view. So it was really nice to spend some time with them down there too. But since I got back, it's just been like kind of hit the ground running, which is kind of nice for, the new year, fresh start, kind of the revamp, which is great. But yeah, I just did an nth intent at the VO Dojo, which is a place I love. Great community. They do like So You Think You Should do voiceover, all the way up until like I'm totally forgetting some of their class names, but they do an entire like intensive program for people who want to do voiceover. I joined in their final stages in nth degree, which is for working pros and such, and they just did an intensive, which was a 3-day weekend. Like, you are a business, you are an entrepreneur, this is your baby and you're honing it. So I just came from it very like empowered and like, I am a businesswoman, I am an entrepreneur, like, yeah, this is my business. So it was a really, instead of like your hobby, but I'm like, yeah, I do it. Sometimes I make money, I guess.
No, you are your business. And for all of you out there, like, Jenna's an amazing voiceover actor. And I'll put a little sample like at the end of the podcast, just so you can hear it. Cause like you are, I mean, you do really cool and interesting children's voices, as well as super versatile mother voices, and like just so many different, like, your voice has such interesting texture that you're able to apply dependent on what character you're creating. I'm a really big fan of yours.
Thank you.
You're
oh my
welcome.
God, that means I'm blushing. The lighting's bad, so you can't tell, but I am blushing.
I'm very impressed by you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I really wish that I could get more into those like little kid voices. I love kids' voices in general.
Me too.
Thank you. But I love boys' voices, which I never thought that like I would do.
So makes sense.
For the taste of the people out there, it's usually, holy mackerel, this is a first edition Commander Codfish still in its original packaging. Oh my gosh, bro. That's like worth a fortune on eBay. Like, that's my cool boy voice that I absolutely love to do, but I'm just like waiting for the right opportunity and moment. I'm like,
it's coming.
It's coming.
It's coming.
So.
Oh, it's coming. I believe that when you have certain things that you just know how to do, there's a time and a place when someone's going to need it, and you're going to be there and you're going to be able to provide it.
Yeah.
I just truly believe that. I really, really do. And I think that a lot of times we forget that. We feel defeated because of all of the no's coming in the way. And we think, well, I'm hearing no 25 times back to back. It maybe means no. But then in that 26th time, and we see it so many times, like with celebrities, I had 25 cents in my bank account, and like we see, there's just so many people that have had that narrative, which it's true. Like there's a reason there's a cliche.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It could
Absolutely.
literally be right around the corner.
And what I found so refreshing and incredible in this like voiceover community that I found, and that's with, I do VO Dojo, but there's also plenty of other areas like Voice Actors Network. Ben Pronsky, he's really awesome. He works with like doing one-on-one clinics, and he also hosts like workout group every 2 weeks, I think, like that. Like, so there's other communities as well, Meet the Pros, but every person that I've met is just like, oh, we're not in competition. We are doing this together. And just because I got something this weekend, like we like to say there's a seat for you at the table for sure.
Oh my God. Oh my God. It's so funny that you say that, because my little thing that I've been saying is everyone gets to sit at the table. Sometimes you have to just wait till someone gets up.
Right. It's exactly that. Like, there is room at the table. This is a buffet. Like, there's plenty of food to go around. Just sometimes you gotta wait your turn in line, and it's a long line.
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of analogies lately.
I love it. Give me.
But I also like to think of this career, and this isn't just VO, but like acting in general.
Mm-hmm.
I like to think of this career as almost like all careers as a ladder.
Mm-hmm.
And every place has, their length of ladder. They have their rungs that they have to climb to get there. Acting is just a very long ladder. Like, that's the best way, because that's the best way I think of it, because I did the same steps and rungs as some other people. And, maybe they got to their profession, they're making money consistently, and they're maybe going for a promotion soon, like that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I did those types of things, but because my business has a longer ladder, then I just take more steps to get to the top of my roof, so it's just very interesting, and kind of thinking about it that way too. Like, it's a climb, and we all have our own equipment, if that makes any sense.
God, we gotta put in a Miley Cyrus song. So it's gonna be another mountain. So it's gonna get through. Don't know where Miley doesn't sound like that. Neither do I. I don't know where that voice.
I was like, yeah, it sounds great. You're welcome. Hey, do voices. That's like one of the best ways to like get into fun characters, is just be like, I like make songs up all the time, and they don't sound anything like my singing voice.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, Brendan, I just love you so much today. Like, and I'm like, I don't sound like that.
I love that. You must be a lot of fun to date.
I like to think so. He says I am.
Yeah.
So
well, he stuck around for 4 years, so you definitely.
Yes. He's there, and if you can see, I mean, I know we're on a podcast, but he's there in the background playing some video games.
Oh, that's great.
We are never too far from each other, which is super sweet.
I love your love.
He's cutie. Oh, thanks.
Speaking of your love, let's talk about our love. How did we meet?
Oh my God, we met in the beautiful back rooms of BB King's.
The back rooms. We sound like prostitutes who are just.
I know. Well, because whenever I think, I'm a little hot. Sorry if I need to lower my mic. Sorry, mic hot. That's what I meant. Whenever I think of BB King's, I always think of that giant chair room. That's just like where my mind goes. And like Friday, Saturday nights, turning the restaurant into a club, and picking up chairs. But you did a lot more, like you did brunches and stuff like that. And
I did, and you did too. We did that together.
Yeah. That was fun. It was a cool place.
It was a cool place. Who's your favorite person hearing there, or a couple people that you were just like, oh, this was such a great show?
Oh, I still talk about when Mary J. Blige was there.
I missed that.
Oh, you missed that? Oh my God. It was so cool. She wore these like thigh-high red boots, and like, it was real. And like, she just was working the stage the whole time. It was pretty cool. I think I was actually in Lucille's at the time, but like she was there, and I was like trying to peek over to like, oh, is like, what you doing now? What's going on? Like that kind of stuff. Oh my God, I'm totally misplacing on her name, but she sings like the Christmas, like a big
Darlene Love.
Thank you, Darlene Love.
Yeah.
I did I worked with her for that one. Like I was her in charge of like her roommate, like hosting and stuff like that. And she was so lovely. Like she was lovely, like Darlene Lovely. That's what I wanted to call her. Like she was such a sweetheart.
Yeah.
And that was it's really cool to see like, oh my God, I know those songs. And oh my God, like I've heard of this before. And so it's kind of cool to like get a brush with like, I don't know how to put it. It's like the classics, the OGs. You know what I mean? Like that was I'm terrible with artist names, but the Great Balls of Fire, when he came in,
Jerry Lee Lewis. Yeah.
Thank you. See, I'm terrible with names.
Yeah.
I know their
songs.
songs.
I got you.
Thank you.
That
Jerry
was
Lewis,
really cool. Yeah.
Jaw dropped. Like that was fantastic. And he's at such an age where you're like, there's no way he's like still kicking and grooving, because he was like in his late 80s,
yeah,
I think,
he was.
or something like that when I saw him. Oh my God. It was like, oh, if I could be, you're still doing what you love. He's up dancing and shaking and grooving. It was so inspiring to see.
Muscle
so
memory.
Wonderful. Yeah. Yeah.
Like some of them just went out there straight on muscle memory. You know, I remember Sly Stone, he came out and he came out very briefly. He went back into the dressing room to smoke some crack. And then
gotta do what you gotta do.
Yep. And then when he came back on, he kept complaining that the keyboard didn't work, and the sound engineer got up to the stage and was like, "It's working," and he's like, "Screw this," and he left. And thank God for his band for still playing it out and like doing it. I think it was Rufus. I think
band stuck around and he dipped out.
Band stuck around, but here's the thing: this band was so tight. It was Sly Stone and the Family Stone, like Sly and the Family Stone. So like they were in it, and the music so timeless. Sure, you needed, keys, but they had an extra person in their group that was able to just slide in and play keys.
I bet you it's not like it's like happened before, probably. It's like, oh, get the backup. It
was so funny because my tables, I'm like, I'm so sorry that the artist left. They were like, I was expecting it. Like, oh, you were expecting him to leave to go smoke drugs in the dressing room? I wasn't. Okay. I have to clean that up. Okay. Anyway, so
would have loved a heads up, Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, that place has like that. Those are the kinds of memories I think that I really think about, like the just nuts, some of the nuts things. I forget. There was another artist who like didn't show up for almost 2 hours into his set, and people were like at one point people were like, no, we get it, and then finally they turn and you're like, they're like, I want a refund, where's my money, he's not here. Shows up for like 10 minutes and they're like, this is terrible. Like, oh right, what do we do with this chaos now? But Lucille's was fun with who did the Motown
Decade of Soul. They were
Decade of Soul. Yeah. Oh, they were just like lovely people. It was really, really awesome to like get to know people. That's like, that's, my job. I love to just like chat and kind of shoot the shit a little bit.
Yeah,
and
totally.
Like just get to know. I just like to get to know people's experiences and where they're from and how they got there. And it was just really, that was really cool to watch actual, like, I guess that's probably what kind of pushed me probably to keep doing what I'm doing, because you're watching people and hearing their stories about, oh my God, I played a gig with, 5 people in the audience and, 3 of them were the servers that had to be there, that kind of a thing. And they're now selling out and, booking out such big venues and stuff. So it was really cool. And I saw your show there with Jessica.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was awesome too.
We did a show. It was great. The Evergreen experience. It was a super cool period in life. I got to play the place that I worked. It was cool. It was really, really cool. It was super legendary, and it opened other doors. So we were able to play at Highline Ballroom. Cafe Wa, City Winery. So it was awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that you guys started kind of like
Yeah.
going around. Oh, that's really awesome.
We did.
When I got there, you guys had already had your like show. It was running, I think, for like maybe a couple months or something like that. So it was just, that was like you said, legendary, like coming into a workplace where you're like, oh yeah, and I perform here too. Like, oh my God.
It took
That's so cool.
took everything I had not to let it get to my head of just like, yeah, I'm type shit. But it was like, it gave me a sense of validation that I definitely needed at the time.
Yeah.
Like I really, only because I spent so much of my time working and just waitressing
Yeah.
and so many auditions that I just wasn't booking. So to see something popping up, because I was doing theater when I started working at BB King's, and
I
then
didn't know that.
because oh yeah, I was a theater kid. I moved to New York to be a Broadway actress.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
Because you do
Oh,
so much like film and on camera stuff. So I
yeah.
just assumed I thought you just loved the big city and wanted to do that kind of work.
God no.
Oh,
No. When I was a kid, my very, very first passion was voices. I used to do voices with my sister, like when I was very little, and I would sing. And I would sing a lot of country music, a lot of Reba McEntire, a lot of Dolly, a lot of Garth
Yeah.
Brooks. And
Garth.
I then learned about this little, not really well-known musical called The Sound of Music. Not a lot of people know about it, but
It's really
me.
small, kind of a boutique musical.
It's a kind of a boutique musical. So I started mimicking Julie Andrews. And
yeah.
and so I could I could sound like her, and I was a child. And so I'd start listening to other things that she did, and like, in every job that must be done, there's an element of fun. You find the fun, and the job's a game. And so I started like developing this skill of being able to like mimic certain people.
Yeah.
And but then musical theater was just so enticing, and that's just kind of where I fell into it. And I never thought I'd do film and TV, only because it was pretty stereotypical that only pretty people were on TV. And like, by pretty people, I don't mean a diss to myself and like, I'm not pretty. I don't mean that at all.
I know
mean
what you mean, just very
Colgate, like your typical Colgate model look, which is totally what we were having on TV for such a long time.
Yeah.
Just super stereotypically, beautifully perfect Sex in the City / Friends type people. And I love both of those shows, but I sure as shit don't look like anybody on them.
Yeah.
So I just didn't think it was like a possibility. And then
it wasn't even something that like really occurred to you to be able to do.
No.
That's so fascinating.
Yeah, no, not at all. And then whenever I did see fat people on TV, they were always like super, very sidekick, no sexuality, not any sort of.
Well, I loved sorry to cut you off, the review that you recently read. And I remember seeing that. I think I read the article too, for The Art of Blowing It, and how it's not that stereotypical fat humor kind of like you guys, and which it's not like you have it's the characters that have the humor. It's not about their physicality kind of humor, which I think is so great. Like you guys, it's such a dynamic cast and story, and it's so funny. Like I was just watching it all, like a little bit beforehand too. Like I was like, oh, which one's like my favorite? I still love episode 2 when you find out when Emmy finds out that for those that haven't seen it or anything, you can go watch it. It's exciting.
There's something that happens in episode 2 that really kind of sets up the series, and it's funny. I never wrote anything, and this was the first thing I wrote, and I wrote drafts and drafts and drafts and drafts and drafts and drafts, because it was my first project, and so I had so many ideas. And one of the first things that I thought of was episode 2, and what's the worst way for someone to break up with you?
Oh my God, that's terrible. That's
the worst way.
Great way to start. great way
the
to start.
worst. It's the worst way. So even like when it's all said and done, like the ideas, it's so funny because everyone keeps putting it's so silly and so like these things would never happen. And I'm like, this shit's happened to someone. I don't know. I'm not taking it from their life, but I know some of these
It's
things
happened
have happened to
somewhere. Yeah.
someone. Like it's
Yeah.
happened to someone. It's just, it's so ridiculous that it seems like it would never happen, but
I
the
mean,
world
we
is
all, and
full
I
of
think we
ridiculous.
all have those experiences where like, there's no way this is actual real life actually happening to you. Actually, I have a really fun story from this past week, if you want to
Mhm.
hear it.
Yes, please.
I was in the intensive and felt like, oh my God, this is not real life. I was like, opportunities, they're great. I'm so excited. We had done, this is day 3 now. And mind you, it's a 7 to 8 hour day that we're sitting in working on our own, like emotional stuff, like what's missing. Am I not putting, the actual effort in? Am I avoiding? Am I that kind of, procrastination? Like, what am I leaning on? And then you hear from all of these people about how you can make better relationships and contacts and take your business globally and learn how to really be the entrepreneur and those like laws of commerce and stuff. So it's very like informative. And it leads up to this big day. We have a panel of representation there. One, James Murray from A3 came, Brandy Ilson from, oh my God, I'm totally spacing. I think she's from Aperture, and then there is ACM. I might be getting there confused,
Oh,
so
wow.
don't fully quote me on that. And
Okay.
I hope that now I'm like, oh, I hope they're not listening. But it was just,
Probably
it was
not.
really incredible. But it was a nice, like, dynamic, different way to live. It was. No, it was. What'd you say?
I said they're probably
Probably
not.
not.
We're gonna have 2 views on this, me and you.
Oh, listening.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they might be. You're a
names,
lot more in
I'm
demand
really
in the
bad with
voiceover
names.
world. Yeah, get it.
I wish I was even more so. But I'm really bad with names. Like I need to see people's faces and like interact so much more to really remember all the time. But so we have this great panel of judges and they're going to give us demo feedback. And I'm like, yeah, I'm rocking my demo. I just got it done like a month ago. Like, it sounds so great in my head. Like, I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And the first question they asked me, it was from James and he goes, so did you mean to send us an hour-long audio file? And my jaw dropped, my heart sank, I almost cried. And I was like, no, I sent them the full raw session of my demo recording.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it was one of those like,
Oh.
this is not real life. Like, this is not happening.
Yeah. I just got goosebumps all over my body. I would have been oh my God.
What an experience. I was mortified. I was like, I'm so sorry. And now Melanie from ACM, she had said, I'm sorry, like I just didn't listen to it, but I did read your cover letter. She gave me feedback there. I was like, I don't blame you. It's an hour long. James and Brandy, they're like, so what I could piece together. And I was like, oh my God, you listened and tried I was like, they're incredible people. Like I would have passed it right by. I'm like, be able to try and help me and give some sort of feedback was very, very, very kind. Which also helped demystify a little bit of like how intimidating agents can be. I was like, the fact they tried to sift through some of that material and I'm on there like being like, okay, all right, no, it's just gonna be like just talking to myself, like not acting or like like so embarrassing. So needless to say, so after that, like I can't believe this is not real life moment. The next day I got an inbox from my agent, totally unrelated. I had booked a gig. So it was just really cool to kind of like these things don't happen in real life. There's no way. It's these stakes are so hot, but it does happen to some people. And we all have those kinds of there's no way that happened to someone, but like it does, if kind of moments. So it's that was a pretty big roller coaster within 24 hours. So, but it was very validating. Like, okay, you mess up, it happens. such is life. I will now double, triple, quadruple check my samples before I send them. And I'm still valuable, which was kind of cool. Like, it's not like I missed my opportunity completely. I blew it.
Oh
So
my God.
yeah, isn't that fun? Isn't that a fun one?
Fun. Oh my God, that's so fun. That's some scary shit. I just had an audition for Sesame Street, and like it's one of my bucket list things to be able to be on a children's show. Like, I have a huge passion for children's entertainment. I know this sounds stupid, and especially if you like look at all of the footage that I have on the internet, like it makes no sense.
The art of blowing it, really, really child friendly.
I know, the art of blowing it, Skeleton Crew. I mean, I'm just singing over men having sex. Yeah, it's great branding, Ashley. But like, seriously, I have such a passion for. I get along really well with kids. I've always been really good with kids, and like I'm good with them, and it would be just so cool to work on, Sesame Street. But
oh my God,
I felt so
the legend.
silly. The legend. I had to do
the legend of children's shows.
Yeah, I mean, it's that all the Skidamarinky Dinky Dink. Remember that show? Skidamarinky Dinky Dink, Skidamarinky Doo. I love you. I love you.
Of course.
I loved it.
Of course.
And so it would just be like, especially with how crummy the world is in so many ways, like, why not at least put a smile on kids' faces?
Yeah.
Like, it's fucking
because they
simple.
don't know it's that shitty yet.
They don't. They shouldn't know.
They shouldn't.
They shouldn't know. Like,
right.
And that's where I get super passionate about stuff like that. Like, I just think that children should be allowed to have more innocence than society puts on them. I feel like as it is, we have this essence about us where we want to grow up so quickly. We just do. We want to kiss a boy when we're 12 or 9 or whatever. Like, we want to push all of these envelopes and get to like the finish line when we're so young. And I just feel like, and I'm not saying like children need to be sheltered, but in a way they need to be protected more.
They need to be children,
They need to be children.
They're children. I have so many younger cousins, and like it's fascinating to see like them grow, like watching them grow up from that like Jenna, play with me to like, yeah, that's cool, or like, I like your skirt, like, all those kinds of levels to like, oh, like, she's cool, like that kind of, it's just, they're funny. And there's a part of me watching them grow up that I'm like, oh, like too young, you don't need that right now, or granted, I'm not their, not a parent or anything like that, but watching them makes me reflect on like my own childhood, and like just going like, oh, I wish I didn't try to grow up exactly what you said, try to grow up so fast, or like I used to think that first like 18 was such a great number, it was a great age, and then it was like 23 was that's it, that's the age, 23.
Not 21. 20. Okay.
No, because 20, I always thought that 21 was cool. Okay, yeah, you can drink and you get your all, legal stuff, great. But 23, I was like, you're established at 23. You like know your limits at 23. Like you're ready. Like that's what I had that was my thought, right? And you think about that now and you're like, oh my God, I was a mess at 23.
I was more put together though at 23 than I was at 27. I was in a committed relationship from 22 to 27. And then I guess like 28, 29, 30, I was wilder than I was in my early 20s. And even job, I was a manager of the body shop at 20, like 21. And so like I had employees.
Dog whining, I'm sorry.
Oh, let's see your dog.
Okay.
Hi. Oh my God, you're
Baby.
so pretty.
He's got.
Why you gotta be so pretty?
Hey, baby.
Hello.
Hi,
Oh, you have
baby.
beautiful eyes. They're
Oh,
different
thank.
colors.
Yeah, he's got one blue eye. He's licking my face right.
Oh my
He's one blue
God.
eye, one brown eye. He's totally messing up my eyeliner, which
Oh,
is
how.
great.
What's his
Which is
name?
fine. Topper. He's Topper. He's a husky mix. Well, at least we were told
Hi,
husky
Topper.
lab, but people tell us pit bull. People tell us cattle dog because
Yeah.
he's very, yeah, like as you can hear, he's whiny and
Oh.
like does that kind of all day long. Wants to play. Wants all of the attention. I love him. He's great. He's a really good dog.
So cute.
Brendan must be like in the shower or something because he's like whining like crazy, and I'm like,
Aw.
yeah, because he's not up here anymore. He's like, play with
So
me.
I
Anytime.
have a great question for you.
Yeah.
You have so much that you're balancing all the time. What, like, how do you do like your voiceover auditions and everything with so many distractions and like noises around you? Like, how do you get through that? Whew,
Hard.
it's
It's
hard,
hard.
right?
It's hard. That's a really great question, actually, because
I struggle with it.
yeah, and we were actually talking about this in my so with that nth dojo thing that we do like a focus action group, and
Mhm.
every 2 weeks, every two Thursdays, we get together and talk about like those complications or
Mhm.
what we're struggling with that week. And someone was talking about that too, um, about like their partner, she works at night, has to sleep during the day. So when they're trying to act and be whatever during the day in their booth, it's not soundproof.
Mhm.
And that's also something that people always think like, well, in your booth, it's soundproof. Nobody can hear you and I can't hear
Mm-mm.
it. Totally not true. Like my
Mm.
mom, if you can see, I'm in an office, usually like Brendan's right now behind me at the
Mhm.
desk. Typically it's my mom.
Mhm.
And when she's here, she has conference calls throughout the day. She has like she's a global training director.
Oh,
So
wow.
she is constantly like working with people in and out. So it's difficult for sure. A lot of planning goes into it. It's also really hard, and auditions are spontaneous
Yeah.
kind of. So um it's really great if I have an audition that's due like the next day. Perfect. I can actually at night I can do it. It's no problem. I can, if they like, if someone goes out like, oh, we're gonna have a going for lunch or something like that, I can kind of figure out when I do it.
Mhm.
um but yeah, it's about being really, really flexible, I guess, is probably like the key of how to handle it. um I'm terrible at waking up early.
Mhm.
Terrible at it. If I did it, I'd probably have a lot. It wouldn't be as difficult because I'd be up before everyone else is really getting going and auditions are coming in at that time
Mhm.
anyway. Um, but yeah, I'm not. So, but I'm not. So I just about being flexible. If I am recording, I make sure it's known like, hi, I'm going in the booth. I'm recording. Everybody be quiet. Please don't walk up the stairs, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. Sometimes they forget. So,
Mhm.
all of a sudden I'll be like, um, have you tried and you're like, oh, have you tried the new, and then I just wait for them to go and have to do it
Mhm.
again. And
Mhm.
it can be frustrating, but in my opinion, like the amount of time I'm actually in the booth working, it's probably for one audition, maybe 20 minutes. I feel like 25 minutes is like even long.
Mhm.
um Definitely like I do like a solid 15 minutes in there because I don't, if you, I try to make it like I'm in an actual audition. If I was
Mhm.
at an actual place, I'd get my copy, I would read it a couple times, I'd do my notes, I'd, run it a couple times out loud by myself, and then I would go in the booth and I'd record it. So sometimes the recording itself, I'm like, "Ah, I don't like that take. I don't like that take."
Mhm.
So that's what takes a little bit longer. But um for the 15-25 minutes I'm in there, I can get everyone to kind of be quiet for a little bit. And then, like I said, and then just being flexible, constant flexibility.
Okay.
So yeah.
So I would love for you to be able to share some of your wisdom with our listeners out there. So let's say you have someone who clicked on this link because they were interested in doing voiceover work and they're not exactly sure like how to start. What advice would you give for those people that are like straight up, I'm thinking of getting into this, and you'd be the advice?
I just did a consultation with somebody the other day. So this is actually right on the money. I was just talking about them with it. So most people think, okay, I have to have a demo. Got to get a demo. Yes, and you can also finagle around it, but you need samples. That's kind of the biggest way to put that. That's what your demo is, right? It's samples technically taken from projects you've been in, but most people know that if you're submitting originally, it's work that you've created. Anyway, so I would make sure that you have a commercial sample for sure. That's really the biggest the most marketable, I think. You can do audio. There's so many different facets of what you want to do, like where to go with voiceover, whether it's audiobook, promo, commercial, animation, but you also have to see like what outlets are available to you to get into those mediums. So there's one, I joined Voice 123. That was a pay to play kind of site. You could get basic voiceover auditions and breakdowns there. It gives good rates. The only thing I ever suggest about pay to plays is that know your worth. Like sometimes they'll have jobs that are really worth, that $350, $400, $500, and they're putting them out on this website for only 100 or 150. And while someone's starting out, that might be good to do one or two of those just to get, your feet wet. I always say be careful about them because it also diminishes the work that working professionals do as well, because then people are like, well, if a working professional is going to ask me for 550 but this guy's going to do it for 100, why would I pay that one? So just, I always say, tread carefully there. But I signed up for Voice 123 and I did private coaching just so I could learn what equipment you need, how the proximity to the mic to be in, how you want to read, the kinds of types are out there. So I always recommend some sort of coaching, whether it's private coaching with a professional casting director, agent. A lot of them do private coaching on the side. One in particular here in New York was Ed Lewis. That was my first coach I had here, casting director. He was awesome. He worked with me a couple of months, produced my demo, and then from there I started reaching out to various non-union agencies here in New York. In LA, like I said, VO Dojo has more of a structured, I'm interested in voiceover. How do I do it? I think Ed Lewis actually has something here in New York too. It's called Shut Up and Talk. That's his like class structure. I think it's like a group class you can take for beginners, and then you can do private coaching. And then VO Dojo does that. You should do voiceover, and it kind of, I think that one's a 6-week. Might be a 6-week, or it might be less. I might be confusing classes, but that in particular goes through all the equipment, goes through how you should be talking into the mic, what people are looking for, how to start thinking about your brand and breakdown, marketing. Voicecaster also has great classes. I did an advanced class there, and with Kelly Mashinsky. She is the head of the Voicecaster as well as casting director there, and she is absolutely wonderful. They do really great, like if you come from a theater background, I always recommend that one because they do a lot of like tongue twister types of exercises, or let's talk about attitudes versus like the actual acting and breakdown of the script. So I'm sure a lot of people, a lot of places go that way, but I really like that one too. And yeah, that's I'm trying to think of other people. I've worked with Debbie Derryberry. She's so awesome. She's like my mentor. I love her to death. though I think she works with more advanced working pros. So if you can eventually get there, she's incredible. She produced my animation demo. But it's
Just
kind of
awesome.
like, yeah, thank you. She really wrote a lot of the stuff, and we kind of just played with each other. Like she was like, oh, go do that in the booth. That's hilarious. And I was like, okay. Like we just kind of had conversation about a script, and then she was like, that's the script we're using. Let me write it down. So it was kind
That's
of
great.
yeah, it was super organic with the way that we did that one, and she's just a ball of fire. She's so fun to work with. So yeah, that would be my best I guess advice for someone starting out, is I think that knowing the equipment, knowing your vocal print or vocal type, that's really important. Do you have a bright sound? Do you have, like me, I'm very, very textured, a lot of gravel. Oh, we joke and say it's an over easy vocal fry, because I really don't try. It just happens. Do you have that kind of a sound? Do you have like people call it a crinkle, where it's not as much as mine, but maybe you have like a touch of a rasp? What sound do you have? And then start listening to, I always say commercial spots, but whatever you want to get into. So if you're interested in audiobooks, listen to some audiobooks, see what's booking, see how they're sounding. I'm not into audiobooks in general, just because they take a very long time.
They do.
But people that do them, they love the ability of like freedom of creativity and expression that comes along, because you are literally narrator, characters, everything in between, so it's they love the way that the creativity can kind of blossom in that. I just found my way into commercial. Like, it's why I always say I'm like bumbling. Like I like just, people were like, oh, you have a very commercial kind of national tone. I was like, all right, I'll take it. Sure, if that's branding, done. People, they like really listen to it. What people say come across, like what you come across as is typically what you're going to be branded as. Can you stop? Thank you. He just laid down. He just wants to play.
Who doesn't?
Right? He just wants his belly rubbed. And
Who
I'm not gonna
doesn't?
lie. Who
I
doesn't?
do. I totally want someone to rub my belly. Sorry.
No, I get it. Just a little daydream there. Rub my
Got
belly,
weird.
please.
Got weird real quick.
Yeah, we like weird.
We do.
Like weird.
We do. That's amazing. That's amazing. Info though, and insight. Really, really awesome. And I'll be sure to link a couple of those places in the description, so people can see where to click and look into, just to kind of do some research if voiceover seems like it's something that they want to go for. So I guess I have one other question for you.
Okay.
So whenever you feel fear start to like kind of come into life, like what do you do to kind of combat that? Like how do you deal with that?
Depends on the day,
Yeah.
A good day or a bad day. Do you want to talk about both?
Let's do both. Let's start with the bad
day. Oh, let's start with the bad day? Sounds great. I can go with bad, and then we'll take it,
and then we'll
end
make it
on
better.
a positive.
Yeah.
I love it. On a bad day, so I'll first, I guess, talk like where does my fear come from in general? One, not doing enough, I guess, is a big one. Like, I'm too late. I rushed it too much. I've done 15 takes and I don't sound anything like I want to sound. All of these mouth clicks. I need water actually before I continue.
Yes.
Can you hear my mouth clicks? They're bad.
Oh my God. I have salt by me all of the time because I need salt near me, or else my mouth just sounds like a fucking...
Green apples are really great too.
I don't like green apples.
Well, if they help, like that tart, they're like juicy and tart at the same time is the best way, but they help with one. Like or just brushing your teeth before session too.
Okay.
That helps a lot. But we've been
Oh,
talking a good amount, so it's really I'm
yeah.
just dry.
Yeah.
And when you think you have enough water, drink more water. Always.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. I will.
but yeah, I okay. Yeah, see, now I just took a sip of water. You're like, okay, good. So to those of you out there, drink some water right now. Then drink
Do a
another
shot. It's on
do
us.
a shot. Pour one out for the homies onto some plants. um um but yeah, I guess so. Bad day, it would be like I'm a total procrastinator, I'm a total avoider. So, and then that works against me a lot too. Like, great, you didn't do anything all day, you weren't productive, you were, so a lot of that kind of gets in my head. And I'm a sleep makes it better kind of person in my bad days, which it doesn't. It's another form of avoidance, but I get so overwhelmed that like I crash, and that'll be a bad day. On a good day, um do you hear Brendan singing?
No. Oh my God. So cute. What's he
Singing.
singing in the shower?
He's singing to the dog right now in the kitchen. He got out of the shower, but he's just excited about the
God,
dog.
he's a Disney princess.
He really is, just with no tone. He missed the gift of song.
Bless his heart.
Yeah, but no, he's great. So he'd be like, I sing, babe. I can sing. I was in chorus, and I'll be like, yeah, I know you were.
Yeah.
So good. I was chosen to be the solo. I bet you were, honey.
Oh, they had to give it to a boy. Of course they chose you. Sorry. Hence
I was like, I'm
why
sure
I'm
when
single.
12. This is why I'm single. I'm sure that he was great when he was 12. No, he's a lot of fun. But sorry, back on my good day.
So it's a good day, and you're trying to identify what's going on, trying to see what's in your way.
Yeah, big people person. So I'm trying to think of like what actions I take. I don't know if I do it consciously, but I think when I'm feeling that way, I reach out a lot. Like I'm like it's a good day, I'm overly communicative. So if I'm behind on an audition, I'm making sure that my agent knows like I'm working on it, and I think that's a big thing of like what helps me, because most often than not, like I get upset or I'm nervous about what those people are going to think of me, or like what their reaction's going to be, like, oh, she sent it in late again, or oh, she hasn't gotten back to me, or I don't know. I'm just that's my big one. Or they've never said to me, this is a terrible audition, why would you send me this file? They've never said that, right? So it's almost like I get in my head about a lot of stuff that is so unknown and out of my control, and is the past is shown is not going to happen, so it's kind of like those fears are really not, they're not going to happen, in the sense that, yeah, okay, maybe it won't get chosen, but my agent's still going to love it. They're going to appreciate that I sent it. They're going to even appreciate more so that I communicated with them. So I think it's just the proactivity of trying to like, no, shush, I'm doing the right thing, I have to send these things out," rather than saying like, I'm just going to freeze and I can't say anything. That does, right? That's comforting, and to like not do it. I'm sorry, I'm like a little all over the place.
No.
It's comforting in a sense to like avoid, but at the same time, it's so the proactivity of, I'm on my thing right now, so sorry for the delay, yesterday got away from it, like that's what happened, and it's honest, and it's a quick little snippet. I'll get it for you in the next 15 minutes, no problem. I finish up, and they're like, okay, great, thanks. Or I've done that before, and I got back, oh, it was really worth the wait, like, because I did take my time, and I was like, I'm invested in this audition, so I'm not like, that's pretty much like the biggest thing, I guess, that helps me with with getting over things is really being communicative and
Mhm.
having that support, whether it's, and even whether it's the person I'm trying to submit to, like my agent or something, or even if it's the community, like sharing my story about I totally bombed something and then did great the next day.
Mhm.
Hearing their feedback that like maybe I inspired them a little bit, that is encouraging. So, and it's hard to gain that momentum because like when, it's hard to start the, hey guys, I want to talk.
Mhm.
Sometimes
Mhm.
it's much easier, like I said, to avoid and to just like, oh, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to talk to people today. But
Mhm.
it's actually more comforting. So it's just kind of being able to push over that hump a little bit, and then consistency, like
Mhm.
especially this past weekend and hearing so many people's perspectives and their own fears and that kind of stuff. And like I said, this community really builds you up and tries to they're very there's a lot of solidarity with the people there.
Mhm.
And I think that it just gives that reassurance a little bit and somewhat in validation, because we'll go in there and be like, I heard some people this weekend say, I just feel like my voice just maybe I don't fit in this medium of work. And I felt that way before. I mean, I'm excited I booked something now, but my last booking was in September. So it
Mm.
was a big, 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 big transition in between. And it's hard when like you lose the momentum. Like I said, that the holiday season and helping my parents move down originally was really, it was strenuous on my business. I had to take time away from that because and I didn't have to, I guess, like, it's not like they made me, nothing like
Yeah,
that,
life pops up.
but it pops up and I get overwhelmed with other stuff and I put things on the back burner. And it would have been very easy this month to kind of like say, oh my God, I haven't done anything. How am I going to get out of this hole again? Like, why do I keep doing this? I should look for something else. But then, like I said, that communication, that support of just this weekend, like, oh, I signed up for the intensive. I have to go do it. And immediately I was like, yeah, I'm in the right spot. I'm in the right spot. I connect with these people around me. I totally get what they're saying. They get what I'm saying. So like, yeah,
That's
it's
awesome.
kind of that stuff. And like I said, some people said like, they were like, we don't belong. And I was like, shut up. Yes, you do. Like, I was like, I'm listening to you talk right now and your voice is fantastic. Like,
Mhm.
I've seen you in workout and you have incredible skill and talent. So yes, you do. We just have to find the right moment and spot for you. So if I can do that for other people and feel that way,
Mhm.
then I should be able to do that for myself. So it's just
Amen to that.
being consistent with that thought process. And like, this is helpful to me, like being able to talk to you as another artist, creative, that kind of, it's inspiring. It's just to be able to even swap stories of like, oh my God, this terrible audition or this embarrassing moment that happened to me, that is almost reassurance and validation in a way that's like, oh yeah, so I'm not messing it up. Like,
Yeah.
this is just how everybody goes. And new thing to keep you going, if this helps anybody, I've heard from so many different people over the weekend that, and I believe it too, the real, like, especially for what this work in general, this genre,
Mhm.
so at least 8 to 10 years before you really start making headway in your
Mhm.
career. I'm already 5 years in. I have regional agents. I work with one or two, and I'm just getting some really good momentum lately.
Mhm.
But it's been 5 years. I don't have representation for New York and LA yet, though that is my goal.
Mhm.
I haven't landed a huge national campaign yet, though that is still my goal. Like,
Mhm.
being reminded that these things they take so much time, that we have a lot of rungs on our ladder, that kind of thing. It's just keeping those. I have a lot of post-it notes around me, like
Mhm.
with encouraging, like, you can do it, like that kind of
Mhm.
stuff. So it's hard to keep doing that, but I think a support system is really for me, it's the biggest thing to keep going.
I totally agree.
I totally agree. I have a vision board in front of me. Yeah. And one of the big things on it says, make a healthier investment in your future. And above that is a progressive commercial.
Oh, I love that.
I really, hey, I could be Flo's cousin. Hi.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Jenna, I'm so happy that you came to the show and you chatted with me.
Thank you
And
for having me and putting up with all of my thanks, Brendan. Putting up with all my noises.
Thank you for your wisdom. I really
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it. I really, really do. And where can people find you?
Most of the time you can go to my website, Jenna Faye Davi, VO.com. And just to spell it for anyone who doesn't know how to spell my name, it's JennaFayeDavivo.com. That's where all my materials are, all that kind of stuff. Way to contact me there, through my email and such. But honestly, I'm on Instagram like all the time. So at JDavy, the number 4. So JDavy4 is really where you can interact more with me.
That's where it's at.
Instagram, man. It's where it's at.
IG is where it's at. All right,
That's
y'all.
no marketing.
Thank you. On behalf
of
Ashley, I thank you and all that's going on. It's my new little setup right here. I really like these.
I love it. It looks super cute. Like, and I have to say on video too, like you look like it's got like a nice, oh, this is my window and plant view.
It's the window to my soul.
The window to my soul. At the desk that we live at.
Yes, this is exactly where I spend most of my time. Alrighty. Well, you're amazing. I love you. I'll talk to you soon. And everyone out there, you're incredible. I thank you for being here and keep making your magic. You got it. Boom, boom, shaboom, boom, shaboom, boom.
Boom, boom, boom. See you in the room.
See you in the room.
What'd you think of the show? It was fun, right? If you have not subscribed, what are you waiting for? I mean, if you haven't subscribed and you're still here, it's kind of like a goodbye kiss. So why don't you just subscribe? And then we'll be able to see each other more often. You leave a comment, I'll respond. This little game you can play on. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. I thank you for listening. I hope you have an incredible day. Keep yourself inspired. Keep fighting against the fears that want to stop you from doing the things that you want to do. Why? Because you're worth it. You're amazing, and you got this. So let's make some magic. Let's make some magic. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we can make magic.